Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's always interesting to follow the honourable member for Murray in his contribution, and I think some of it nearly touched on the subject of today's debate, almost. But I'll try to certainly stick to the topic at hand. The cracks in this United Kingdom are clear and there for all to see. The catastrophe of Brexit, of Tory cuts, and this UK government's pandering to the rich few, and unfortunately Labour's persistent to lurch to the right, has shown what we all know to be true. Scotland's held back by this place and this government, and any government in this place. Both Scotland and my constituency of Midlothian are being strangled by the vice grip of Westminster control. The UK is the sick man of Europe, lagging behind other countries on economic growth. The UK economy only grew by just 0.1% in the first quarter of 2023 and contracted by 0.3% in March, according to the ONS figures. Yet another clear indication that we need to find a new way to end this morass. The SNP wants to get Scotland back into the EU with all the benefits that brings. And while Labour back Brexit and continue to dig deeper hole for millions of families left struggling by the cost of living, this government here does nothing that will actually address any of these issues. I can see the impact of rising food and energy prices every single day in Midlothian. We're in an appalling situation where soaring inflation and food prices have made it difficult for struggling families to put food on the table. And it's heartbreaking to see so many families struggling to afford the absolute basic necessities. There are some stark examples of the reality of this situation in my own constituency. One restaurant fears that nearly a third of outlets could be forced to shut down due to soaring energy and food prices. Their own energy costs increasing to 80,000 a year, and on top of that, unsustainable price increases. This local business has seen a 25% increase in the cost of rice alone. The cost of other basic ingredients such as onions, garlic and cream have doubled. This is having a real daily impact, with jobs and opportunities threatened across Midlothian and indeed throughout Scotland. SNP Midlothian Council thankfully formed a cost of living task force to fight back against this onslaught, the first, as I understand it, such task force to be established in the whole UK. The task force has given £1.6 million cash injections to boost the local economy, but this government here, the UK government, desperately needs to step up and accept their responsibility to do so much more. While we see SNP-led Midlothian Council taking action, and we see this SNP Scottish Government take action with its limited powers, but what about this government? Westminster Government could restore the lower rate of VAT for tourism and hospitality businesses, which ended last March. The Government must take urgent action to address the root cause of the shortages and ensure Midlothian residents have access to affordable and nutritious food. They could uplift universal credit. They could end the benefit cap. They could take action to address soaring food prices and the increasing mortgage rates inflicted on so many by the disastrous failed experiment they attempted last year. These are choices, and the lack of action by this government is a choice, and it's their choice. The impacts of Brexit and Tory economics are being felt across the country, and Midlothian is no exception. And given the damage is so obvious, I just find it astonishing that Labour are hell-bent on inflicting yet more hardship by supporting so many of the policies of this government. Real change could be implemented now. We don't have to wait. We could find sustainable solutions to these challenges to ensure our communities are supported through very, very difficult times. This government could act now to stop the rot by investing in local agriculture and food production, as well as boosting support for food banks and other community initiatives that help families in dire need. Instead, I've been struck by this government's apathy when it comes to issues north of the border. This Tory government, augmented by tacit Labour support, has shown nothing but contempt for Scotland and my Midlothian constituency. I recently contacted the Secretary of State for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs regarding all of these issues, and she could act immediately to ease suffering that's happening right now. But so far, the response is simply stated it's not for the government to intervene in such matters. This government could do so much more. I really wish the Labour Party were offering a genuine alternative, But as far as I can see it, there only really is one way for Scotland, and that's for us to decide our own futures.
Yeah.